Good evening, everybody. How are you doing? Hope everyone is well. Sorry we're late. Talking about stuff and the time ran past. Also, guys, how it is. It's one of those days snowed in at home. If you're in Europe, it's gonna be cold outside. Hope everyone is there enjoying it. Chelsea, bro, I know why you're here because you're coming to smile about something I'm gonna talk about later, and I know why you're here. Guys, big up to all of you. We're going to talk about a few players and a few transfers happening across the Premier League and a few, key things might be going on with Manchester United. And I've also mentioned some other teams like Tottenham, Chelsea, even Man City, maybe, guys. So stay tuned for more as we get ready to go. Don't forget to smash the likes and subscribe. I've got my buddy in the background. You know him, Admiral Drex. He's in the building. So don't forget to check out D Hop Sports when you get the time, guys. You know how it is. It's one of those things. Let's get going. Guys, big up to all of you watching. Let me bring my buddy Drex in the building one time because he's here. Big up to all of you. What's going on, bro? Oh, you're muted. That was my bad, bro. That's not. Hold on.
I'm all right. I'm okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. I think that was my bad, bro.
All right. Yeah, just chilling. Like you said, it was I think I had about what 5, 6 inches of snow earlier this morning, so I had to clear the driveway. Yeah. But
Yeah,
it's all in
man.
all, it's a good morning for me from my end. Well, okay, it's actually past 12, so it's actually a good afternoon.
Big up to you, Chelsea Dan. Big up to you. See you coming in. Big up to you, well, Admiral Drex. You know you're my buddy. Big up to you, Kenny Fan TV, bro. What's going on? How you doing today, guys? You know what I mean? That's gonna bring you some transfer news, quick and fast, and then we'll talk about it, right? So let's hop on right quick to this, and we start with Joshua Zirkzee and Man United joined the race for Joshua Zirkzee, guys. Let's just read through the article and see what's going on. Manchester United have reportedly already had initial talks with Bologna for striker Joshua Zirkzee, who's also wanted by Arsenal, Inter Milan, AC Milan, Juventus, and more. The Dutchman came up through the Bayern Munich academy and first came to Italy with Parma on loan for 6 months in 2021. He made considerably more of an impact since the 8.5 million transfer to Bologna in the summer of 2022. Really exploded this season with 8 goals and 4 assists in 22 games between Serie A and Coppa Italia. Guys, Bayern Munich have the right to 40% of the sell-on fee, but also an option to bring him back to base for 40 million euros. However, Sky Sports Deutschland claimed that Bayern are not intending to activate that, so a sale is likely at the end of this season. The same source also states that today that Manchester United have put Zirkzee on their wish list and already had preliminary talks with Bologna. The 22-year-old has already been heavily linked with Arsenal in the Premier League, plus Serie A sides Milan, Juventus, and Inter. If the English clubs get involved, it will be difficult to beat them on a financial level when the asking price goes above 40 million euros. And this comes from Florian Pettenberg. And what are your thoughts? Guys, in the comments, let us know what you're thinking. Drex, what are your thoughts on this information right here, bro?
Yo, but honestly, his goal and assist is GA for of a, what match sample size of 22, and it's got what 8 goals and 4 assists. It's not a bad one for a 22-year-old, if I'm not mistaken. And the fact that this guy is tall, what he's about 6'4", 6'4", yeah. So
Very mobile as well.
and he's mobile, right? But if Eric Ten Hag actually wants him and he sees something different, but I don't see what's the difference between this guy and Hoyland. So because we've been Eric Ten Hag actually, so is it like he's deviating from his plan because he wanted a young striker and an experienced head. So what's the plan here? We're looking at, okay, get two young strikers and grow with that. Then if an experienced head comes in, maybe a 6 months to 1 year deal, 6 months loan spell, then maybe finally push it down to a 1 year contract, right? Is that what they are looking at? Because in my opinion, the way this guy plays is almost like the way Hoyland plays. So not much. I would hands in the air. I wouldn't say I've watched him most of his game, but from a little bit of clip I've seen about this kid, it's not much different from Hoyland, right? Because Hoyland too is about what, it should be 6'2" thereabout. So yeah, one while we were at the back, were behind the back of the stage when we were talking, I told you my problem is not really the striker per se, is the service to the striker. The service we've not been able to actually, because at the moment Hoyland is feeding on scrap. If Martial comes in, we've seen how Martial feeds on scrap. Even while Cristiano Ronaldo was here, they were trying to walk the ball for him in second season, but it didn't really go well, right? Because it feels like most of our strikers are just isolated and just the every other person in the team just, okay, do what you have to do, just be there as a figurehead. No, our wingers and the only person I'd see that tends to sometimes find Hoyland is the number 10 in Bruno. But the wingers we have, they need to be more inclusive. They need to be like, you know what, let's get this guy to the point where he starts scoring goals, because there's no use getting a ZIRKZEE in and we don't have wingers to support him. But if that's what the manager wants, and if that's what, not just the manager though, if that's what the new 25% are actually looking at going forward, then it's their call. We as fans would support whoever they bring in.
You
That's
have
how.
no choice, really, right? You know what I'm saying? Let's move on, bro. Like, we hear we were in talks over João Neves, and there's been lots of reports lately, especially this report from Benfica denying talks with Manchester United over João Neves. SL Benfica have taken the rather unusual step of releasing a club statement denying they are in talks with Manchester United over a potential deal for João Neves. Interest from Old Trafford in the young midfielder is long-standing, with Fabrizio Romano revealing the club dispatched scouts to Portugal to watch Neves in November. Reports by the People person detailed how United were thought to have made the midfielder one of their top targets last year. The 19-year-old is admired by major clubs across Europe. However, Manchester City and Liverpool joined their northwest rival in pursuit of the Portuguese protege, while both Spanish giants Barcelona and Real Madrid are also reportedly interested. You know, possessing a potent pairing of physicality and technique, it's easy to see why these clubs have been put on red alert. Standing at a more diminutive 5'9", has a low center of gravity and legs like tree trunks. He's strong in the challenge and ranks in the 93rd percentile for tackles and 98th for blocks. He's also somehow clocks a 89 percentile for successful aerial duels, demonstrating height is but a number for him. Yet it's his ability with the ball at his feet which makes him truly a standout. Neves is capable of playing a defensive midfield, central midfield, and attacking midfield due to his dribbling intelligence and passing range. He ranks highly across every metric commonly associated with top midfielders, demonstrating a maturity on the ball which belies his years. Guys, what are your thoughts on this? And I'm thinking to myself that, it's definitely of some interest that Manchester United pay attention to this young lad. Whether we are in contact with him right now or not, I think it's not a big deal for me. Seeing that we are still in a process of building a squad that actually will get to stability, and then, having a player like that come in would just, should just take it to the next level, in my opinion. You know what I mean, Jax?
No, but okay, I'm gonna disagree with this one. I know people tend to look at this kid and be like, okay, it might be the next big thing, but where do we put the likes of Kobe Maino, right? Where again, what's the plan? We need to know what the plan is, right? Is it a case of we're gonna be going young and look to 5 years from now, right? Is that the case? Because what does this say about the likes of Dangor, the likes of Kobe Maino, right? Are we getting rid of the likes of Scott? If we're getting, if we, the thing is, we get linked to so many players, right? Even the ones that we think we know they're talented, but we don't see the plan. The manager can, like, we know how the manager wanted Frankie De Jong. We saw the plan, right? We saw what the manager was thinking in that regard, but the club don't see it. So it's, is it a case of we're just being linked to a player? And I like the way Benfica comes out to say, "Yo, we're not." What the report or whatever has been going on is not true. I like the way they actually came in and just squashed that. There might be something behind the scene, right? No one knows. There might be something behind the scene, but I like the way they just calm me down. But I'm looking at it from the United point of view, where where do we um where do we what are we doing? What's the plan? Because we, if we're going to be going for a 19-year-old, don't we have, I know we want to go for best in class and all of that. This guy's not going to cost. Let me see. Let me look at his
No, he's
price.
gonna cost a lot of money, bro. He's like about 70 million
No, he's,
average.
yeah. Right now, they put him at what? It was 45 million. It was, which was evaluated maybe somewhere around December last year, right? This is what's my call it, transfer market doing this, right? 45 million, but he's not going to cost anything lower than, like you rightly said, 70 mil, right? What do we have 70 mil to actually throw at a player at the moment? Do we have,
Well,
because we, do we have the likes of Dan
as
Gore, like I
much.
said, Kobe Maino coming through,
Well, I
right?
mean, that's a different type of player, bro. Kobe Mainoo can't play attacking midfield, so
But
and he could he's so I mean, as much as you would say Kobe Mainoo, I don't think that's going to affect him. I think Jao Neves wouldn't be playing in the same position.
my
I
own
think he would
take
be
is,
playing next to him.
I just want to see, I just want to see I want to see, I want to know the plan, because it's, I heard a report had it that Sir Jim actually talked to some fan group, right? We, none of the fan group have actually, in my, I have actually looked at it. None of the fan group have actually come out to put out the transcript or say something that they got from that meeting, right?
Yeah, I mean, but
So,
at the same time,
mhm,
that's me, right? And prospectively saying like, the plan as they lay out the plan for you. Like, I mean, it's not like
mhm,
we expected them to have to do the same layout, the rollout like Qatar did at the beginning of Qatar bid if Qatar win.
mhm.
So we know how the Glazers operate. Most owners don't really roll out a whole platform to say, well, they're going to give you a list of the itinerary or what going to happen. But
No,
as you can see, they have plans, and this is just prospectively saying they haven't fully taken over yet. So therefore, I can't really expect to say, well, they go and say, well, this is the plan, really 100%, because at the end of the day, look at it like this: they're still taking over the process. They ain't ratified yet. Until they're ratified, they could only say, well, prospectively, they would like to do this, they would like to do that, they would like to do all these things. But only when that ratification process is finished could they really say, well, listen, we are going to do these things and attempt to do them. You know what I mean? Like this morning, I was talking about the new training grounds that they're looking at. They're looking at a golf course, to buy some golf course for like $3 million or something like that to build a facility in the south of Manchester.
mhm,
So, they're looking at things. I'm not saying it's 100% they're going to do it. But
mhm.
what I'm saying is it's possible that, they go there, they build this new training ground, or they train there temporarily until and they rebuild Carrington, and then they have that as a separate ground as well or something like that. You know what I mean? But what they were saying in the reports that they ideally want to have a ground that everybody could do everything in one place.
Like the youth team, the women team, and the men's team as well, right?
Everything. So in prospectively speaking, it's one of those things. So it's like, you have to give it time. And as much as everybody want to know what's the plan and what's the plan, no have everybody have to we have to watch and see the plan, because at the end of the day, we
Mm-hmm.
have to flip this squad upside down. A lot of this squad
100%,
has to go.
100%, yeah,
So
100%.
so the questions on whether we have the money for this player, or what this player, how this player coming in going to affect other players. Like, Well, the whole point is other players have to leave, so some players will naturally be affected. It's like the arguments of over starting a lot of young players over some of the senior players we had. And to be fair, some of the senior players we had is like, in my honest opinion, they, at the end of the day, they have contracts. Like everybody's saying, all these players have contracts. So if these players have to get certain game time, the youth don't have those senior contracts. So although they need to get game time, it's not set in their contract. So it's like a little bit different. You know what I mean?
Stephanie coming in here saying only 14 days left of the transfer
Transfer
spec.
speculation. Yeah,
But the the
today's
truth is,
the 17th.
honestly, if they are not doing any business in the transfer window, it doesn't bother me. Maybe
Exactly. And I've
get
been saying that before.
doesn't bother
You
me.
know?
Maybe get if you get the lone striker in, yeah, like the striker shouldn't be a young kid. The striker should be an experienced head, right? Come in because we need an experienced head that maybe Bruno. Because no, I was looking at some clips about of Bruno, right, and I found out how most of our players have been wasteful. He's been wasteful. Don't get me wrong, but he's been more, like I've always said, and I've always say, he's more like the major creative outlet we have. Now, when people don't finish their dinner, especially when Bruno serves it hot for them, right? It's frustrating. It can be frustrating for the player himself. And we know Bruno wears his heart on his sleeve. So it can be frustrating for him. So I'm saying if we get uh, um, an experienced head in terms of an experienced striker, maybe that could form a good link or a good partnership with Bruno. Maybe that would help us. But if we end up not doing anything this January transfer window, bro, I'm not bothered. I break no sweat. I'm not bothered at all. It's just it is what it is.
For
Go to the
me,
summer and regroup and do what you have to do. See, from the
100%.
summer, I need from the back end of May or the first week of June, the 25% should be actually be doing some 25ing. They should be kicking, they should be doing things. Like they should not just talk. You see others, you see what Rashford was doing when he scored that goal, right? He should be doing it to Sajim. You talking too much at the moment, bro. Let us see action. You know?
You know what I mean? So more on some transfer speculation
Go
as we
ahead. Go
go
ahead.
along, I just keep it running. We have a few more speculations to run through. And this youngster here is Lenny Euro. For all of those who don't know, this youngster is from Lille. He's 18 years old. He's been performing in the highest metrics across the board in defenders and centre backs across Europe. He's 6'4", and he's been performing really well. And transfer expert confirms Ten Hag 4 targets injured. Agent gives Ratcliffe advantage for crazy deal. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. And the Red Devils are out of the Champions League and the League Cup already this season. Eric Ten Hag's job for the rest of the season is attempting to get Man United back into Europe for next term. Man United also have FA Cup to try and win, but they are currently 7th in position in the Premier League and 8 points adrift of 4th place Arsenal, who are currently occupying the final Champions League spot. Ten Hag is hoping that he will be supported with new signings in this transfer window, but it is made more complicated by Sir Jim Ratcliffe's imminent arrival. The British billionaire will take over football operations when his deal to buy 25% is ratified. Like I was saying, guys, there's been speculation that Eric Ten Hag wants as many as 3 new signings, including a centre back with Lille defender Leny Yoro emerging as one of these 4 targets for the Red Devils, as well as Barcelona's Ronald Araujo, Benfica's Antonio Silva, and Bayern Munich's Matthias de Ligt. And to me, bro, the Lenny Euro or de Ligt might not be bad. You know what I mean? Big
Yo, bro,
guys, mobile,
I don't
good
want
on the
delete.
ball.
Delete is done out there. I don't want delete. Get me
Bro,
somebody
you
else.
know what you're saying, yes? He's
I
on the
don't.
list of FC Bayern as revealed. Man United is monitoring him closely for a few months. MUFC bosses are impressed but aware that nearly every top club in Europe is considering him for the summer. Man United CD targets confirm Araujo, Dilit, Silva, and Euro. The 18-year-old central defender has a contract until 2025 at Lille. George Mendes is his new agent. You know what that means?
I know what that means, but I'm saying of the names that's mentioned there, where is Todibo? Where is
See, well,
go?
this is the thing I keep
Because
telling
it
you all.
keeps no, but it keeps
People
the list keep they keep altering the list week in week out. So it's just
No, you see,
like
but you have to understand the list will always alter and evolve. Football is a ever evolving sport, and a lot of people just get fixated on certain things. But it's just like this, and this is the same argument I'll pose to fans. Young Willie Kwambala breaking through as a right centre back. Why would you want to buy a player for 50 million who's 2 years his senior, but his exact profile? It makes no sense.
no, for the
And this is
Todibo.
why,
Is it for the Todibo you're talking about?
yeah,
No,
Todibo
no, you
is
are
the same exact height
no,
as Willie Kwambala.
you and I
Same
have actually
profile
talked
as
about
player.
that.
He just have a little. He just 2 years
No,
older with more
you
experience.
and I talked about it, and I don't have a problem with, like I said earlier, if you remember in previous stream, I said if Todibo is available for a good price this between now and even not this transfer window, even in the summer transfer window, if he's there for a good price, and if we're moving the likes of Lindelof on and Harry Maguire on, right? If we're moving those people on, then I don't have a problem with getting it to Debo, right? I don't have, but for me, if Varane is still going to be here for a year or two, then maybe Varane's game time he would get to see limited game time. If we're going to be looking at 8-year-old, what's the problem with Willie Camboala? What's the issue? Because there should be something that the manager has seen in Kambuala that is actually saying, okay, that gives the boy some level of confidence. But like we said, it's all speculation. Let's just wait and see. Let's see on to the next one, because what's of what use is bringing Euro. Honestly, I don't want delete. You should take delete off that list. Any other person take delete off. Arahu, fine. If you get me Arahu, ooh, but delete
Bro,
nothing.
that's what I'm
Nothing
trying to
else,
show
bro.
you. You rate Araujo, and I don't even rate him. You know what I mean? I just making that equivalent fair now. Like you rate Araujo, and I don't rate him at all.
No,
Like
I'm
I have
saying
no. I
if you
think he's
give,
rubbish.
I'm saying if you give me, if you put Araujo and delete, I'm saying I'm gonna take Araujo, not delete. If you know what I
Well,
mean.
yeah, I know. But I was just saying, like, everybody points will differ. But you see, the reason why I will take Dillett is because I know he worked under Eric Ten Hag. And not only that, I would say as well as, I think the real reason he didn't work at Juventus was because, you know, if you look at how he does tackle, he's very physical and sometimes, that could be well imposing. You know what I mean?
Mm,
It's difficult, and sometimes you might be playing the same style or the same position in the same control as you're accustomed to. You know
mm,
what I mean? Like every system is be different. Your system might entail a left rollout from the defense. This system might entail a right rollout or a central rollout. So it's a different approach. So he might not be getting the kind of in the same system he was accustomed to. When he go on to Bayern, he was playing. He was one of the starters for Bayern for the first season he was there, and then he got injured, and then he was in and out. And then
I don't
since
honestly.
Tuchel come,
I don't think
he don't
Tuchel
play.
actually likes him. I don't really think Tuchel.
Exactly. So I will take him. We should have sold Harry Maguire to Bayern if they really wanted a centre back. They could have get Harry Maguire, and I'm sure that I buy him over Karen Dyer. You understand what I'm saying, buddy? So let me move on to this next article here because this one here might be interesting to everybody because this is one about Anthony Martial, guys. And to be fair, I didn't expect this, but it's one of those things where Galatasaray has entered the fray and they are about to have talks with Anthony Martial and his agent, you know, to sign the United striker. So the daily newspaper in Istanbul contend that Turkish giants are attempting to steal the Frenchman from the grasp of bitter rivals Fenerbahce, who have a long-standing interest in Anthony Martial.
Was it not the same thing that happened with Fred?
Yeah.
Was the same?
Galatasaray initially wanted Fred, and then Fenerbahce came and bought him.
These guys ain't serious, man. They ain't serious at all.
Nice. I like this. This is what we want. You know what I mean? Let's get a little 12 million and we could go in the market and possibly get a good deal going. You know what I mean? 10 million as
If
a
we get
down payment.
if we get like out 12 million might be thinking too much.
No,
I'd
but I
say
mean, if think about
8
it. If
million. 8
Fenerbahce
million.
offer eight, if
Mm-hmm.
Fenerbahce offer eight, right?
Mm-hmm.
You
And
can't expect
Galatasaray.
Galatasaray to now come
Or
and say they're going to offer 20.
no.
So let me say a rough estimate, they might go up by
10.
2 or 3. So let me say they go up to 12 mil.
They
12 mil
might they might
fancy.
they might even go up to 1, but their project might be, they might even stay at 8, and but their project might be more attractive
No, they
to
will
Marshall.
definitely bid higher,
No,
bro.
but they would. I'm saying they would definitely bid higher. But I'm just saying they might go maybe up 1, 2. Yeah, up 1, 2, and yeah, that's
I
that's
don't
how I
think their
see it.
project might be more exciting since they have Mauro Icardi, but that's just me, you know,
Marocadi, they might look to move Marocadi on though.
bro. I could tell you why. I could tell you why Fenerbahce deal might be prime for him because Fred is there, Pastor Fred is there, and they're good friends. They've always got along really well. So
Mhm.
that would be one of the good things, in having them have time and
But could
yeah,
could could could
Stephanie.
Fenerbahce be actually playing the long game here? Okay, let's go put in 7 million, and if United don't take it, we wait till the end of the season and get our man. Because it
Yeah,
could
well,
be.
maybe they'll wait till the end
But
of the season
not,
and they get their man, but
but now that Galatasaray is in the question,
sniffing.
that could swing things. It makes sense now that, like, it could actually speed up. Could it just be paper talk, or could there be actually meat in this story? So we'd wait and see.
Stephanie coming in plus 1 million saved on salaries per month with Anthony
Mm,
Martial out of the picture. So that's our
100%,
Benzema for sure. On
100%.
son. You know what I mean?
But
Yeah,
the
bro.
but
Listen, I
the but
always
the
think
but
about
the
the best for
but
United,
the
bro.
but
I
the
love the players and thing.
no
I'll be
but
real.
but
I
the
might be a
but the,
fan of
but
some of these players, but at the end
But
of the day, as a
Benzema's
fan,
club
I'm
hasn't actually. They've actually said, there's reports coming out that they have not actually heard
yeah,
anything.
they could talk that and then last minute swing. You listen, I'm gonna tell you something. All these guys, I'm there. I'm in the future, guys, because I just think about things on a balanced scale.
Mm,
You have to always think about things on this way. But what could benefit the club? What could benefit the Glazers' pockets as well, right?
mm, mm,
And you have to always think that listen, these guys like to know. They like to say they're not in for this and they're not in for that.
mm.
And then last minute, all kind of mad things happen. Look, we didn't want to pay X amount of money for this player and went and spent 67 million on Casemiro.
True.
Let me be real. People will blame Eric Ten Hag and say, well, okay, Eric Ten Hag wanted Casemiro. I don't
No,
think so.
nobody,
I
nobody
think the
would.
club,
Nobody. I don't think anybody
bro,
would
this
actually
dude
says that.
Rob Dawson was on the United stand on TUS talking to Bet, Poor Bet, she had to listen to Rob Dawson talk rubbish. The man talking about Ten Hag switch tactics and went for Casemiro. Now everybody know that signing is a Glazer signing.
Hundred
It's
percent.
just like Mason Mount. Then they needed a shirt seller. Shit, stuff was going wrong. They then back the manager. Okay, listen, we could get Casemiro. Who manager gonna and say no to a
Nobody.
top player?
Nobody.
Nobody. Because they're probably telling him, listen, we can't get Frankie, but look, we could get him tomorrow. You want him? Yes or no? And he might be saying, well, look, we want this guy. And they was like, they're probably saying, well, listen, we could go and try to get this guy, but we could get this guy tomorrow. What do you want?
Are you gonna take him
No or
tomorrow?
never. I take in tomorrow, bro. You know what I mean? You don't pay for later. You pay for now.
For pay for now.
So, in my honest opinion, it's like some things is how to just understand. It might be the best situation, but sometimes the circumstance at hand, it's just happen that way. Like if you get deal cards in a casino, if you get deal cards, you play in a game, whether it be Monopoly or whatever. Sometimes you can't choose your luck.
No.
Is you have to work with what you have.
Well, yep.
You know what I
100%.
mean? And
Yep.
now, and boom, we all know who he wanted. We look at the players he wanted: Cody Gakpo, Frankie De Jong. He wanted this Sassy. Where the Sassy is?
Chelsea.
Exactly. You understand? He wanted this next. He wanted Cody Gakpo. Look, Cody Gakpo at Liverpool. Look, he's one of Liverpool top players. When he wanted these players, you know what fans were saying? Another Dutch player. Cody Gakpo can hack it in the Premier League. All of a sudden, Cody Gakpo is a big
He
player
doing
playing
thing.
for Liverpool.
He
You
about to
know?
win the league now.
Exactly. And you know what? People will say Ten Hag got no talent ID.
No, but do you
Talk
know
to
what?
me.
No, no, no. When they say that, it's just to suit, or just to suit one part
Their
of the
narrative.
narrative. So most of the time when people talk and they're not talking, they're not making it sense, or they're not actually proving a point. I don't listen to them. I just know it's you trying to suit the narrative. So I don't fault you for that because you have a narrative that you have to sell, you have an agenda that you have to push, then push it, right? I don't have a problem with that. That's why most of the time I try to listen to Omo when he talks, right? Because you could see how he tends to want to balance it and not just push um an unnecessary narrative or an unnecessary. Because yesterday I had him after the game, after the Mali South Africa game. I was asking him, so if Ten Hag, because you want the manager gone by summer, so but if Ten Hag miraculously gets us top four and win the FA Cup, would that change your perspective of how should he be given an extra 1 year after his contract? So he was like, yeah, give him 1 year, because you could see it's not big, but someone with an agenda would like, no, get him out, irrespective of what is happening, right? But I tend to listen to people that actually say, okay, this is the reason why I'm saying this, as to just saying, oh, talent ID is wrong. This is that. He spent a lot of money. He hasn't done anything. I'm like, come on, wait. Let's go
Well,
to the next one.
wanted to tell you guys about this youngster. And a lot of people may not have been paying attention to this youngster, but if you've been watching, you know what I mean? You know, if you've been watching football and the Champions League this season, you would know that this youngster has been scoring goals against Europe's best, including Manchester City this season, provided to be a handful and a contributor to two of the goals that were scored against Man City in the Champions League this season that saw Man City be trailing 2-0, needed a penalty to get themselves back in the game at second half. And this young wonder kid from Royal Antwerp, guys, yes, Royal Antwerp, you know, he idolizes Cristiano Ronaldo, opens the door to Premier League transfer. And the young wonder kid's name, George Yenkina, bro, I could barely pronounce this guy's name. I hope I'm not butchering it. You know, has opened the door to potential transfer. You know, admitted to being a fan of Manchester United and Cristiano Ronaldo. The Red Devils are not showing any interest in the 17-year-old as yet, but one imagines he'll be soon on the radar enough after the impressive start he's had in life in Belgium. He has 9
It
goals in
sounds
27 first
like
team appearerances for Royal Antwerp,
sorry. Yeah,
and one
okay. Yeah,
can imagine.
I was gonna say the guy's name sounds so much like a Nigerian man. But just go ahead. I just see that he's actually a Nigerian, born in Nigeria, but he's I think he's dual citizenship, so he's from France. His nationality is actually citizenship is actually France. Okay, go ahead.
Well, right. And the youngster, whew, listen, I watched the game against City and he's been playing very well. And he scored against Barcelona as well. You know what I mean? This season. So last season he scored against City. This season he scored against Barcelona. He scored against Porto. Scored
So
against
far,
Braga.
so far he's got what 18 appearance, 5 goals so far this season. No, in the call it, the Belgian Dubai Pro League. In the Champions League, he's got 1 goal, 6 appearance. Not bad, not bad, not bad.
God. And you know, to be
And
fair, look,
it's only 17. So
he's only 17. You know what I mean? So yeah, lots to grow, lots to develop, but it was just something I thought I would mention, you know, because everybody always talking about young stars, and I like to
upcoming,
highlight the young
yeah, the
stars. And
upcoming
for moving
youngster.
from one young star to our next young star, as Tottenham joined the race for young Swedish wonder kid, and you know, Rooney Badaji
Rooney
from FC
Badaji.
Copenhagen. £22 million transfer. The young players delivering exceptional campaign for the Danish top flight team, attracting interest from clubs all across Europe, scoring his first goal in the Champions League against Manchester United. You know, said to have links to Manchester United, also reported
Links.
before previously on this youngster about when he heard that there was interest from Manchester United. He said it was a dream because he's also a supporter of Manchester United. You know, his family has, you know, been supporting Manchester United. You know, Manchester United was a huge fan base and contingent in Denmark. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. The 18-year-old winger has already scored 11 goals this season, is strongly linked with a move to Tottenham right now as they jumped into the race last minute. Recently identified Tottenham as a primary competitors for the signature Swedish under-21. You know, as mentioned, Ange Postecoglou had personally requested the signing of the player to Tottenham. You know what I mean? If Ange wanted him, people can't be mad if Ten
No,
Hag
no,
wanted
no,
him
no.
first.
But don't because people tend to do this thing where they say, okay, there's a player United are attracted to, and they tend to say, okay, before we give that any thought, who's in for him, what club is in for him, what manager is in for him, or if if City aren't looking at him, if Liverpool ain't looking at him, why then if Arsenal aren't looking at him, why then is United looking at a player like that? But so would people say, okay, Tottenham now looking at him, does this still count? Because I've heard about this kid and people on Twitter like, why are we going for him? Is just a place for Copenhagen. Is that the level we're looking at now? But people tend to forget that um the the more experienced head, or the ones that are quote unquote termed stars, were actually once young. They didn't just wake up one morning and became world stars. They didn't just wake up one morning and became world beaters and became a star. They actually grew. So if there's a pathway, if the thing is, at 22 million, right? I don't. People tend to say United don't have the money, but at 22 million, come on. If he comes in at 22 million and doesn't do his bits, you could sell him off. You could sell him
100%.
off. We bought Daniel James what at 15 and sold him off what 25.
Hmm.
So it's not really. So if like I said, we'd have to know what the Sajim and his squad are looking at in relation to what the manager is looking at the same time. Now they have to come together, and there should be a common ground and intercept and say, okay, this is what we're looking. Your ideas actually matches ours, then we would go with it. If that's their plan, then kudos to them. Let's just wait and see. Right now, I'm in a zone where I'm like, can it get any worse than the way it is already? In my opinion,
Just wanted to
maybe
highlight
slightly
this for all the
yes.
fans watching. Sorry for cutting you, bro.
Oh, this
That
guy,
was
I heard you saying, yeah. So let me just wrap
yeah,
up. Like I'm saying,
Middlesbrough. They said no to the Middlesbrough.
yeah.
Middlesbrough was said they did offer a bid to get him on loan for the next 6 months, but Manchester United and Eric Ten Hag said no. He's in his plans. He needs him for the rest of the season. He's got got game time already set aside for the youngster, and we could all see that his performance against although we lost against Nottingham Forest, he came in and he made a huge impact. And
So
I think Eric Ten Hag is looking
my
forward to see
question
what
is
that could do
now:
going forward.
are they going to let Pelestri go on loan? Because I heard
Yeah,
report.
Pelestri already agreed to the
We
loan move and is just waiting for Manchester
oh,
United to
see,
give the
see,
green light right
see,
now.
good.
So that will be probably announcing my show tomorrow morning, letting everybody know that Pelestri is going on loan. It's one of those things. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And last but certainly not least, I have to talk about this guy. It's it's the transfer window, and I just have to mention, Andrea Nana. So far for me a disappointing signing. Hopefully it will change and turn around, do a full 180 and go upwards. You know what I mean? I just think it's been poor dealing with the performances that he's been given. I think he is largely to blame for the situation at Manchester United being out of the UCL, as well as some of the goals conceded at the weekend. I think he needs to do better. He needs to show more confidence in himself. He needs to stand up to shots. And not only that, he needs to stand up and take command and show that personality, that big personality that he has, you know, in the 6 yard box during games. And Emmanuel Adebayor is accusing Andrea Nana, just like lots of fans, of disrespecting Cameroon after late arrival at AFCON. And I, as well as a fan, I'm not even, you know,
But
I'm
but,
from
but
Trinidad and Tobago, and to
mhm.
be honest, I be real, I would have accused him of the same thing. If he
quick,
was a Trinidadian coming
yeah,
late,
quick
he
question,
needs to be here on time. I don't care. You know
quick
what I mean? You
question,
have to
yeah,
have a certain respect for your nationality.
quick question, right? I'm gonna be in on Nana's defense here, right? We all tend to say which we are in our right to actually say he should have respected Cameron and be there early, right? But we don't know what agreement was in place for him to actually be comfortable staying at United while his team were away at camp, right, preparing for the tournament. So whilst we're actually trying to get the whip to flog, right, we should be careful because there might have been some sort of agreement between United and the Cameroon Football Federation, right? as to, okay, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is what we're going to do, right? So it's not just a case of Onana taking a decision all by himself. I don't believe so. I don't believe it. I'm one of the person that actually says he should have gone, right? But I'm just saying, in his defense, right? I don't think Onana just sat there and said, okay, you know what, guys, I'm not going to be coming until a day before the tournament. Deal with it. It has to be. There should have been Ten Hag giving the goal, which in my opinion was wrong, but that's a different case. Ten Hag agreeing to that fact. Then United and the Cameroon Football Federation, except there's a statement that comes and says, okay, Cameroon Football Federation says they were not in agreement with anything. Then we can say, okay, but I feel like there's while we take this on the surface level, I think there is an agree. No player would actually do such a thing without some sort of agreement between his club and his country. So it is. We've had cases where even Ferguson, right, letting the players go represent their country, their national team, and he's telling the coach, "Yo, please don't play my player more than the X amount of time," right? Protect him. There's some sort of agreement between both parties. I wouldn't just say Onana decided to do this all by himself. So it is what it is, right? So I on a surface level, yes, Emmanuel Adebayo has his own right to his opinion. But I'm saying before Emmanuel Adebayo actually comes out to actually say things, he might have said it like on a surface level, which is okay. But for us to start throwing shades and weaves and all of that at Onana, we have to understand that United is in this picture as well. We have to put the place of United in this picture as well.
No, well, okay. This is understand what I'm going to say to here. And this is why I will always stay. I'll always give it two sides. Even if I have an opinion, I'll always give it two sides. The player side and the manager side. And as much as I will say to you here on this occasion that, you know what, listen, it's always been done by every single football club around the world. It's not new, especially for the clubs in Europe, because being from Trinidad and Tobago, I know firsthand about having a player play for the club. And one of the things, is that my having Dwight York play at Manchester United when he did under Fergie, sometimes, for some of the games, the initial games, for like just qualifying for Gold Cup or for Copa America, stuff like that, he might not be able to come. But if it's when he started the tournament, he was always here on time. But then it had sometimes, you could only play him for 30 minutes a game, or you could only play him for one half. So either you start him or he come off the bench. And that was due to, commitments at Manchester United. At the end of the day, it didn't have the advanced technology that it have now, where it have all the latest equipment on a scaled level across the board everywhere in the game. You know what I mean? So we didn't have the medical department or facilitation that they had at the time at Manchester United when he was playing at Manchester United in our national team. And I'm pretty sure lots of national teams didn't have that technology as well. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where, for me, I will say, well, look, the manager will make a decision based on the player, what he hearing from the player and from the association in contact, because he will be speaking with both of them, kind of in the middle of the situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if Onana says to the manager, listen, manage, I want to stay. I talk to them, they say, okay, so I want to stay.
Oh no,
Then,
Mark,
no,
put a
that's not,
pause.
wait,
No,
let
no,
me
no. Put a
finish.
pause. Okay, I'm
That's
gonna say
not
put
wait.
a
Let me
pause
finish.
there.
So basically, if he tell the manager he want to stay and he want to do something, then as a manager, because of the type of industry football is, the what the player wants have a certain impact on their performance. You understand what I'm saying? So he might be, set to give a very good performance because he ramped up for this, right? As well as, the Cameroon Federation could be say, well, okay, we negotiated with him and, he ended up, once we cool with it, no problem,
That's
right?
where I'm coming from. That's where I'm
But
coming from.
no, understand, I say, listen, I will give it fair. You know what I mean? So I not going to blame Ten Hag because at the end of the day, Ten Hag could only facilitate a decision. If Ten Hag tell the player, listen, I wanted to say, that different, but Ten Hag never tell him that. The player said he want to stay and fight. You understand? So we already know it was
That's
always on
why I
Onana.
said
So
for the Ten Hag thing,
sometimes our
I'm
manager
not
can't
going
tell a
in.
player, go.
No, I'm not going in on Ten Hag. I say in this case with the case of Adebayo
No, I'm not
accusing
going
Ten.
in on Onana, you know. I'm not going in on Onana, but
So
I
that
just
no,
talking about
yeah,
it in the
yeah,
sense
that
that as
because
a football fan from a national country, I would
mhm.
still find it's a little bit disrespectful.
Of course,
I'm being
of course.
honest.
Oh, that's why I say
So that's all I'm saying.
I say from the face value, right? We find it disrespectful, but when you dip it down, right? Onana might imagine him. Okay, let me just before we wrap up the stream, let me just say this. My country calls me to come play for them, right? I did not say anything. Whether I accepted or okay, I accepted the request to go play, but I didn't give them any information as to I'll be coming late to camp or I'll be starting the tournament maybe on the day when we play.
Mm.
Then I show up on the day we play. I don't have a right to be expecting to start that game, right? So, but that's what I'm saying. There might have been something that I would have been said, like you rightly said. Onana went to the coach, the Ten Hag, and said, "Coach, I could do this because I've spoken to them and we have an understanding." Right? So Ten Hag is like, "Are you sure?" Okay, I'm sure. I'm just saying we're just creating a scenario here, right? So I'm saying Onana will not go to the because people tend to say, okay, he arrived and he was pissed that he didn't start the game, right? But I don't think a player would just come to a team that is already set for a tournament and be throwing tantrum saying he's supposed to start if he wasn't given, you know what I'm saying? If he wasn't given a forehand knowledge, like okay, you know, if you show up in time, you're gonna play. Do all you can to show up.
100%.
So he can't just go.
100%.
He can't just go say make a fuss. But in the fact that he actually thought about staying when the competition is already on that ground, we could say, "Yo, Onana, you didn't do well. You didn't do well." You know, it's not like you're pulling up trees at United. You did not do well. You should have adjusted. Most fans that's actually saying Onana should have left actually was saying it that you should have just
For
gone
his own interest, for his
for
best
his
interest.
own best interest. Like 2 weeks camp with your national team, it helps you recalibrate your mental gauge, right? So you can actually feel at home. You are with your brothers, you are with your brethren, right? So at United, it's just a new thing for you. But at Cameroon, you're with your brethren. You know a few of them. You speak the language, right? You're home in
Yeah,
quote and unquote,
home.
you're home. So
Oh,
most United fans are saying that should have been an escape route for you from all of this toxicity that's happening in the club with all of. But that's where
100%.
I'm saying for him, he did wrong. Even if you talk to
Exactly.
the the Cameroon Football Federation, and they say, okay, it's a good, you could do it, right? But I'm saying, as a human, you should have like, okay, I put this guy first. But it's to me, it's just kind of one of those things that we shouldn't just fine. We shouldn't just make it look like it's all dark and gloomy. Onana did wrong. The federation might as well done wrong for actually giving him a go ahead. Then it is what it is. We move on. Let's not just overflog. Let's not overflog Onana for something. The reason why most fans are actually taking this thing serious is because of his performance. If he was doing well, if he was keeping clean sheets upon clean sheet week in week out, do you think people might actually say don't go? People might actually say don't go or keep him. So it's because
He's
of
still,
his
you
situation.
know, listen, Man
You
United still
you
is second for top for most clean sheets in
but
the
you and I, because we know how important it is for our players to come play for the national team. You and I will still say, Joe, even if you're pulling up trees for your club, get out to represent your country. You and I will still say that because that's how we hold the values. That's how some of us grew up seeing players that are doing well for their country, for their club side actually come to represent the country. It's
No,
just
but it's one of those things for me where I look at countries like Italy and Brazil and
mhm,
Portugal, how those players, for them, it's more like a honor to play for your country. It's not like
honestly.
it's not about money.
No,
You
yeah,
know, they
yeah,
don't. If
yeah,
you
yeah.
notice, certain countries, you never hear them having problems with when it comes to money and
No,
football with the
no.
players. You know, Brazil, you know, Portugal, you know, Italy, you know, even Germany. You don't hear them having problems with the players when it comes to football. If they're getting paid, they're getting paid. Wherever they're getting paid is cool. Most of those players, they just take that money and invest it into little grassroots football clubs
100%, hundred
because you
percent.
know, and into the in the communities where they come from. You know what I mean? Because you know what? they're making exorbitant money in playing in the Premier League or in the clubs that they're playing for across Europe. So for them, the money that they getting is not even, it's not significant. It might be significant for other players who not at that level, but at the end of the day, you know what I mean? And that is always for me is stay true to football and sport, because representing a country is more like an honor. You know what I mean? And a lot of people is a lot of players lately in sports is come out and say, well, basically they said like, the country not paying them enough. They need to get, like, why the country had to pay you? If the country paying you apart from what you getting, you should be thankful. And I would hope that the country pay you to a certain, a level that respectable, no matter across the board, whether it's is female or male sports.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
100%.
But at the same time, I feel like that take away from what it intend, because being great at a sport and being able to represent the country should always mean an honor. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of that lost in sport now. And this is why I always say, people is laugh at me when I say it, but I want Jadon Sancho to come play for Trinidad, because I think he will find his himself. You know what I mean? Yeah, he had the Trinity roots. He had to come down to the Caribbean and see how it is. You don't need to worry about never getting picked for England. You come in and you play, go and be a starter for Trinidad at the World Cup 2026. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
So for me, I will always say, players need to take it in some form of contention in the way they deal with teams, with national countries and how they represent the country. They should always look at it as an honor, because at the end of the day, it's one of those things where, well, China always trying to take over the Caribbean just like America, bro. That's always be happening, bro. Caribbean not owned by China. They could try their best. It will never happen, because the Caribbean, mind you, bro, is very, very wealthy. So don't be twisted by that. You know what I mean? They will try and they will fail. That much
Yeah.
I can say to you. But guys, this has been the Transfer Market Show. It's your boy Mark, an MUFC fan, and your boy Drex, Admiral Drex, to be fair. Bringing you some information, players, transfer targets, loan deals, and done deals that have been happening across the Premier League across the season, mainly focusing on Manchester United and the Premier League. But guys, we'll always mention teams across Europe and the Spurs and some Liverpools and, even the Arsenal team. But guys, we don't really talk about the 115 charges, guys. Keep that one just to laugh at. Guys, at the end of the day, you know what? Lots to be happening, lots of move possible. Don't think Manchester United might do much business, though we hope that we
Honest,
get some
if
kind of loan striker that would,
they just need to
provide
move.
a
They need to move.
assistance.
They need to move. If they can move Anthony Martial on, right? And if they can move, because I feel like Anthony Martial has to leave before any striker would come
Look,
for a
I
loan
mean,
thing. Yeah. So if they can
whatever it
move it
is.
on, yeah, if they can move it on and get the loan striker in, that would be good for the
And what
club. That
about
would be
games? What about Bayern or West Ham coming in and buy Scott McTominay, boy? Like,
in
you
this
guys didn't want him this summer. Come in, come get him.
in
You
this
know,
January transfer.
yeah, why not? Come
If
get
you
him, boy.
for January, right? But if you get McTominay for January, who do we replace him with?
Dan God Jr.
Okay, it's a fair shout. All right. So if they come in, I just don't want. See, it's not like I'm
Bro,
hating on
I
Martial.
just
I just
listen.
don't want Martial to leave for free.
Casemiro coming back and it's still at Amrabat. So Dan God Jr. could be the supplement.
Okay,
Fire
yeah,
button. Get
yeah.
rid. You know what I mean? Big
I
up to
just
everybody watching.
I know
Smash
it's
the
not
like
one.
and subscribe, even if you don't really like our views, but I'm pretty sure you would want to see Scott McTominay moved on to another club. Smash the like for that. You know what I mean? Subscribe if you're new. Don't forget to check out my boy on his channel, D Hub Sports, guys. It's one of those things where you must pay attention to as well. He's bringing to you guys the Africa Cup of Nations. Pretty sure there's a game tonight, I think.
No, I'm not. I'm not doing a watch along today. I'm just doing like a recap of the first matches of the group stage. The first, so I'm going to be doing a recap maybe like after the Zambia game. The Zambia game, it's 4 p.m. It finishes like 6 p.m. my time. So I'm going to be doing a recap of the first group game and maybe talk about what the games to watch out for the next set of games in the group stage.
And don't forget to talk about Mali and the two Guinea teams.
Mali gonna be in
Equatorial Guinea and Guinea. Make sure to make reference to the young goalkeeper Owono. We want to see him at Manchester United.
is for Equatorial Guinea, yeah.
Right, and we want to see him at Manchester United. I want to see him at Manchester United. So make sure you bring the news, guys. Stay tuned. Don't forget to check out D-Hub Sports later on. Or he might even be streaming it directly to my channel as well. Don't forget to tune in. And I would probably say in the next couple hours, guys, be sure check out all the latest news, and you'll see us again tomorrow, guys. Have a great day. Enjoy your evening. It's been your boys, Admiral Drex and Mark MUSC Fan with the Transfer Market Show. Later on, guys.
Oh.